Hi everyone, my name is Brooke Stafford, and on today's episode, we're going to talk about whether or not the Smith-Lever and Smith-Hughes Acts, which were originally passed in 1914 and in 1917, would pass in today's society. And here's a spoiler, no, they would not pass, and we're going to find out why. So let's dive into the newspaper and see why not.
Let's take a look at the background of these two acts. Both the Smith-Lever and Smith-Hughes Acts made great improvements within the world of agriculture and education. The Smith-Lever Act was first created and passed in 1914 and created what we know now as the Extension Service. The cooperative extension services are within land-grant universities and provide federal funding to bring university information to communities. The Smith-Hughes Act followed in 1917 and provided funding for vocational education in agriculture, home economics, industrial education, and technical education. These classes encouraged students who wanted to drop out in elementary ages to pursue secondary education through interest in these topics. Now let's take a look at the historical context that led to the passage of these two acts. The early 1900s was a much different time than what we're presented with today, where 1/3 of men were involved in agriculture work, while many others were in industrial work and manufacturing work. 2/3 of women were homemakers and stayed home to take care of children and household duties. In order for these acts to pass, many political and associations joined forces, such as the Democratic Party and Progressive parties, along with President Woodrow Wilson, collaborated on the political front to get these two acts passed. Unique associations such as industrial education, manufacturing, home economics, and women's clubs also worked together. There was much media support from magazines such as Wallace's Farmer and Hoard's Dairyman, who wrote articles in support to gather the public's interest. And we can't forget about technology of the time. There was no internet, so the best way for farmers to get information was through visiting farms and towns directly, as these acts provided. As we are all aware, today's society is much different than the early 1900s when the Smith-Lever and Smith-Hughes Acts were originally passed. Here I have 4 reasons why I believe that these two acts would not pass if they were proposed today. They are that Americans are disconnected from agriculture, youth are more likely to go to college than be interested in vocational schools, technological advances provide instant access to land-grant university information, and political polarity. Let's take a look at this first point where Americans are disconnected from agriculture. The National Research Council conducted a survey where they found that less than 2% of the U.S. population is involved in farming. This is significantly different than the 1/3 of all men being involved in agriculture that we saw in the early 1900s. Also, with agriculture's increased productivity, food costs have decreased, and there is a greater divide between agriculture and the general public. While we're on the topic of employment, industrial workers and manufacturing workers have seen a decrease in their fields of work. To the second point, youth are more likely to go to college than be interested in vocational school. As you can see, college enrollment has increased within the last 15 to 20 years, and where most young adults are faced with the question of where will you go to college rather than will you go to college. To further this, we can see that 53% of workers were over the age of 45 in 2012, showing that there is a decreased interest in trades and trade schools and an increase in other areas that you can obtain with a college education. And to my third point, technological advances provide instant access for individuals to land-grant information. Because of the internet and newer technologies, individuals who are interested in obtaining information and resources from universities can get these. For example, extension information is shared through extension, newsletters, and e-communities on the internet. Other university information is shared on university websites, USDA websites, and online magazines. It's a very good thing that Extension was created first to go directly to farmers, because in the world of today, if Extension did not already exist, there would be seen less a need for it, because farmers could get the same information electronically. And to my fourth point, political polarity. Current political parties are unlikely to collaborate due to the polarity and very differing views that they have. Ultimately, it comes down to less people are in the world of agriculture, skilled trade job fields, and at homemakers. Because of this, there's less general public interest in these topics, and legislative members are not going to support bills that for passing when there is no enthusiasm. Also, technologies are available to spread educational materials to those who are interested. Because of these reasons, I feel that the Smith-Lever and Smith-Hughes Acts would not be passed if they were proposed today. Here are some of the references for this video. I hope you have enjoyed watching this video and it's been helpful in explaining what the Smith-Lever and Smith-Hughes Acts were, why they were passed during the early 1900s thanks to political, social, and educational environments, and ultimately why these acts would not be passed if they were first introduced today. Thank you so much for watching.